Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya daily reading Srimad Bhagavatam reading class. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Uh, we are just recently uh, stopped our chapter 18, 15. So today, sorry, 17, chapter 17, we are recently end. And the fourth canto, the creation of the fourth order. So today we'll start from chapter 18. Prithu Maharaj milks the earth planet from slok number 1. So at first we'll recite Mangalacharan, then we'll continue our reading class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswating Vyasam Tato Jayo Mudire Nastaparaeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nastiki Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Sami Niti Namine Snigdhacheta Supraneto Vagminam Charasa Plutam Prabhupada Prananomi Bhakti Charu Padam Namoyam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasyatya Deshatarine Mukam Karati Vachalam Pangham Langhaite Girim Jatkripatamaham Vande Shri Gurundinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Chaitanya Isharam Intasat Hare Krishna. So you can see Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth canto, chapter 18, slok number 1. Maitra Vacha Itham Prithum Avistuya Rusa Prasphuri Tadharam Punar Ahavanirvita Samstabhyatmanam Atmana. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great Saint Maitreya continued to address Vidura, my dear Vidura, at that time, after the planet Earth finished her prayers, King Prithu was still not pacified, and his lips trembled in great anger. Although the planet Earth was frightened, she made up her mind and began to speak as follows in order to convince the king. Text 2. Sannyachabhivo manyum nibodasravitam chame sarvata saram adatte yathamadhu karo buddha. Translation, my dear Lord, please pacify your anger completely and hear patiently whatever I submit before you. Please turn your kind attention to this. I may be very poor, but a learned man takes the essence of knowledge from all places, just as a bumblebee collects honey from each and every flower. Text 3. Asmilloke tava musmin munivistattva darsivi drishta yoga prayuktascha umsham sreya prasiddhaye. Translation, to benefit all human society not only in this life but in the next, the great seers and sages have prescribed various methods conducive to the prosperity of the people in general. Purport: Vedic civilization takes advantage of the perfect knowledge presented in the Vedas and presented by great sages and Brahmanas for the benefit of human society. Vedic injunctions are known as Shruti, and the additional supplementary presentations of these principles as given by the great sages are known as Smriti. They follow the principles of Vedic instruction. Human society should take advantage of the instruction from both Shruti and Smriti. If one wants to advance in spiritual life, He must take these instructions and follow the principles. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami says that if one poses himself as advanced in spiritual life, but does not refer to the Shrutis and Smritis, is simply a disturbance in society. One should follow the principles laid down in Shrutis and Smritis, not only in one's spiritual life, but in material life as well. As far as human society is concerned, it should follow the Manusmriti as well, for these laws are given by Manu, the father of mankind. In the Manusmriti, it is stated that a woman should not be given independence, but should be given protection by her father, husband, and elderly sons. In all circumstances, a woman should remain dependent upon some guardian. Presently, women are given full independence like men, but actually we can see that such independent women are no happier than those women who are placed under guardians. If people follow the injunctions given by the great sages, Shrutis and Smritis, they can actually be happy in both this life and next life. Unfortunately, rascals are manufacturing so many ways and means to be happy. Everyone is inventing so many methods. Consequently, human society has lost the standard ways of life, both materially and spiritually. And as a result, people are bewildered and there is no peace or happiness in the world. Although they are trying to solve the problems of human society in the United Nations, they are still baffled because they do not follow the liberated instructions of the Vedas. They are unhappy. Two significant words used in this verse are Asmin and Amusmin. Asmin means in this life and Amusmin means in the next life. Unfortunately, in this age, even exalted professors and learned men believe that there is no next life and that everything is finished in this life. Since they are rascals and fools, what advice can they give? Still, they are passing as learned scholars and professors. In this verse, the word amusement is very explicit. It is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will have a profitable next life, just as the boy is educated in order to become happy later. One should be educated in this life in order to attain an eternal and prosperous life after death. It is therefore essential that people follow what is given in the Sutras and Smritis to make sure that the human mission is successful. Text 4. Tan atistatiya samyak upayan purva darsitan avara श्रद्धया उपेता upayan vindate anjasa. Translation: one who follows the principles and instructions enjoined by the great sages of the past can utilize these instructions for practical purposes. Such a person can very easily enjoy life and pleasures. Purport Prabhupada said that the Vedic principles Mahajano Janagata Sapantha urge us to follow in the footsteps of great liberated souls. In this way, we can receive benefit in both this life and next life, and we can also improve our material life. By following the principles laid down by great sages and saints of the past, we can very easily understand the aim of all life. The word avara means inexperienced is very significant in this verse. Every conditioned soul is inexperienced. Everyone is above the jata, born a fool and rascal in democratic government. At the present moment, all kinds of fools and rascals are making decisions. But what can they do? What is the result of their legislation? They enact something today just to whimsically repeal it tomorrow. One political party utilizes a country for one purpose, and the next moment another political party forms a different type of government and nullifies all the laws and regulations. This process of chewing the chewed punah punah charvita charvananam. will never make human society happy. In order to make all human society happy and prosperous, we should accept the standard methods given by liberated persons. Text 5. आनंदृत्याय यो विद्वान् अर्थन् अर्हः गते स्वयं तस्याव्याभिचरन्ति अर्था arabdhascha puna puna. Translation: a foolish person who manufactures his own ways and means through mental speculation and does not recognize the authority of the sages who lay down unimpeachable directions is simply unsuccessful again and again in his attempts. Purport: at the present moment, it has become fashionable to disobey the unimpeachable directions given by the acharyas and liberated souls of the past. Presently, people are so fallen that they cannot distinguish between a liberated soul and a conditioned soul. A conditioned soul is hampered by four defects. He is sure to commit mistakes. He is sure to become illusioned. He has a tendency to cheat others, and his senses are imperfect. Consequently, we have to take direction from liberated persons. This Krishna consciousness movement directly receives instructions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by persons who are strictly following his instructions. Although a follower may not be a liberated person, if he follows the Supreme Liberated Personality of Godhead, his actions are naturally liberated from the contamination of the material nature. Lord Chaitanya therefore says, by my order, you may become a spiritual master. One can immediately become a spiritual master by having full faith in the transcendental words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and by following his instructions. Materialistic men are not interested in taking directions from liberated person, but they are very much interested in their own concocted ideas, which make them repeatedly fail in their attempts. Because the entire world is now following the imperfect directions of conditioned souls, humanity is completely bewildered. Text 6. Pura srishta hai osadhayo brahmanaya vishampate ujamana maya drishta asabdhir asadvir adhrita vratai. Translation: my dear king, the seeds, roots, herbs, grains which were created by Lord Brahma in the past are now being used by non-devotees who are devoid of all spiritual understanding. Purport: Lord Brahma created this material world for the use of the living entities, but it was created according to a plan that all living entities who might become into it to dominate it for sense gratification would be given directions by the Lord Brahma in the Vedas in order that they might ultimately leave it and return home back to Godhead. All necessities grown on earth, namely fruits, flowers, trees, grains, animals, and animal byproducts, were created for use in sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. However, the planet Earth, in the shape of a cow, herein submits that all these utilities are being used by non-devotees who have no plans for spiritual understanding. Although there are immense potencies within the earth for the protection of grains, fruits, and flowers, this production is checked by the earth itself when it is misused by non-devotees who have no spiritual goals. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and everything can be used for his satisfaction. Things should not be used for the sense gratification of the living entities. This is the whole plan of material nature according to the directions of this material nature. In this verse, the words asabdhi and adrita vratai are important. The word asabdhi refers to the non-devotees. The non-devotees have been described in Bhagavad Gita as duskritina, miscreants, mudha, asses or rascals, naradhama, lowest of mankind, and mayaya pahita jnana, those who have lost their knowledge to the purpose power of the illusory energy. All these persons are asat, non-devotees. Non-devotees are also called Griha Vrata, whereas the devotee is called Dridhabrata. Dridhabrata. The whole Vedic plan is that the misguided, conditioned souls who have come to the Lord it over, material nature should be trained to become Dridhabrata. This means that they should take a vow to satisfy their senses or enjoy material life only by satisfying the senses of the Supreme Lord. Activities intended to satisfy the senses of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, are called Krishnarte Khila Chesta. This indicates that one can attempt all kinds of work, but one should do to satisfy Krishna. This is described in Bhagavad Gita as Yagyarthat Karma. The word Yagya indicates Lord Vishnu. We should work only for his satisfaction. In modern times, Kali Yuga, however, people have forgotten Vishnu altogether and they conduct their activities for sense gratification. Such people will gradually become poverty stricken, for they cannot use things which are to be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord for their own sense gratification. If they continue like this, there will ultimately be a state of poverty, and no grains, fruits, or flowers will be produced. Indeed, it is stated in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam that at the end of Kali Yuga, people will be so polluted that there will no longer be any grains, wheat, sugarcane, or milk. Text 7. अपलीतानदृढा भवाद्भिर्लोकपालकै चोरीभूते अथ लोके अहम् यज्ञार्थे अग्रसम ओषधि. Translation, my dear king, not only are grains and herbs being used by non-devotees, but as far as I am concerned, I am not being properly maintained. Indeed, I am being neglected by kings who are not punishing these rascals who have turned into thieves by using grains for sense gratification. Consequently, I have hidden all the seeds which were meant for the performance of sacrifice. A purport that which happened during the time of Prithu Maharaj and his father, King Vena, is also happening at this present moment. A huge arrangement exists for the production of large-scale industrial and agricultural products, but all these products are meant for sense gratification. Therefore, despite such productive capacities, there is scarcity because the world's population is full of thieves. The word chori bhute indicates that the population has turned to thievery. According to Vedic understanding, men are transformed into thieves when they plan economic development for sense gratification. It is also explained in Bhagavad Gita that if one eats food grains without offering them to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Yagya, he is a thief and liable to be punished. According to spiritual communism, all properties on the surface of the globe belong to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The population has a right to use goods only after offering them to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the process of accepting prasada. Unless one eats prasada, he is certainly a thief. It is the duty of governors and kings to punish such thieves and maintain the world nicely. If this is not done, grains will no longer be produced and people will simply starve. Indeed, not only will people be obliged to eat less, but they will kill one another and eat each other's flesh. They are already killing animals for flesh, so when there will no longer be grains, vegetables, and fruits, they'll kill their own sons and fathers and eat their flesh for sustenance. Text 8. Nunamta viruddha क्षीणा मयि काले न भूयसा तत्र योगेन दृष्टेन भवान आदातुम arhati. Translation, due to being stalked for a very long time, all the grain seeds within me have certainly deteriorated. Therefore, you should immediately arrange to carry these seeds out by the standard process, which is recommended by the acharyas or sastras. But when there is a scarcity of grain, the government should follow the methods prescribed in Shastra and approved by the acharyas. Thus, there will be a sufficient production of grains, and food scarcity and famine can be checked. Bhagavad Gita recommends that we perform yajna sacrifices. By the performance of yajna, sufficient clouds gather in the sky, and when there are sufficient clouds, there is also sufficient rainfall. In this way, agricultural matters are taken care of. When there is a sufficient grain production, the general populace eats the grains, and animals like cows, goats, and other domestic animals eat the grasses and grains also. According to this arrangement, human beings should perform the sacrifices recommended in the Shastras, and if they do so, there will no longer be food scarcity. In Kali Yuga, the only sacrifice recommended in is Sankirtan Yagya. In this verse, there are two significant words, yogena, by the approved method, and drishtena, as exemplified by the former acharyas. One is mistaken with things that by applying modern machines such as tractors, grains can be produced. If one goes to a desert and uses a tractor, there is still no possibility for producing grains. We may adopt various means, but it is essential to know that the planet Earth will stop producing grains if sacrifices are not performed. The Earth has already explained that because non-devotees are enjoying the production of food, she has reserved food seeds for the performance of sacrifice. Now, of course, atheists will not believe in this spiritual method of producing grains, but whether they believe or not, the fact remains that we are not independent to produce grain by mechanical means. As far as the approved method is concerned, it is enjoyed in the Shastras that intelligent men in this age will take to the Sankirtan movement, and by doing, they shall worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya. Bodily complexion is golden and is always accompanied by his confidential devotees to preach this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. In its present condition, the world can only be saved by introducing this Sankirtana, this Krishna consciousness movement, as we have learned from the previous words. One who is not in Krishna consciousness is considered a thief. Even though he may be materially very advanced, thief cannot be placed in a comfortable position. A thief is a thief and is punishable because people are without Krishna consciousness. They become thieves and consequently they are being punished by the laws of material nature. No one can check this, not even by introducing so many relief funds and humanitarian institutions. Unless the people of the world take to Krishna consciousness, there will be scarcity of food and much suffering. Text 9 to 10. वासं कल्पयामि विरायनहं वत्सला तव दुःखये श्रीरामयन् कामान् अनुरूपां च दोहनं दुग्धारां च महाबाहो भूतानां भूतभावना अन्नाम इप्सितम् ऊर्जस्वद् भगवान बंचते यदि. Translation, O great hero, protector of living entities, if you desire to relieve the living entities by supplying them sufficient grain, and if you desire to nourish them by taking milk from me, you should make arrangements to bring a calf suitable for this purpose and a pot in which the milk can be kept, as well as a milkman to do the work. Since I will be very much affectionate towards my calf, your desire to take milk from me will be fulfilled. Purport, these are nice instructions for milking a cow. The cow must first have a calf so that out of affection for the calf, she will voluntarily give sufficient milk. there must also be an expert milkman and a suitable pot in which to keep the milk. Just as a cow cannot deliver sufficient milk without being affectionate to her calf, the earth cannot produce sufficient necessities without feeling affection for those who are Krishna conscious. Even though the earth's being in the shape of a cow may be taken figuratively, the meaning herein is very explicit. Just as a calf can derive milk from a cow, all living entities, including animals, birds, beasts, reptiles, and aquatics, can receive their respective foods from the planet Earth, provided that human beings are not asat or adrita vrata. As we have previously discussed, when human society becomes asat or ungodly or devoid of Krishna consciousness, the entire world suffers. If human beings are well behaved, animals will also receive sufficient food and be happy. The ungodly human being, ignorant of his duty to give protection and food to the animals, kills them to compensate for the insufficient production of grains. Thus, no one is satisfied, and that is the cause for the present condition in today's world. Text 11. Samam chakuru mam rajan devavristam yatha paya apa apartav api bhadram te upavarte tame vibhu. Translation: My dear king, may I inform you that you have to make the entire surface to the of the globe level. This will help me. Even when the rainy season has ceased, rainfall comes by the mercy of King Indra. Rainfall will remain on the surface of the globe, always keeping the earth moistened, and thus it will be auspicious for all kinds of production. Purport: King Indra of the heavenly planets is in the charge of throwing thunderbolts and giving rainfall. Generally, thunderbolts are thrown on the tops of the hills in order to break them to pieces. As these pieces are spread asunder in due course of time, the surface of the globe gradually becomes fit for agriculture. Level land is especially conducive to the production of grain. Thus, the planet Earth requested Maharaja Prithu to level the surface of the earth, breaking up the high land and mountains. So today we'll stop here. From tomorrow we'll continue from text 12. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, पतित पावन श्री गुरु महाराज की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्त वृंद की जय, जनिताय को प्रेमानंदे रहे हरि बोल।